So, hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I will be reading day 34 of the plan. I definitely put the title wrong, but after this live stream, I'll change the title, but I'll be reading chapters 14 through 17, so, without further ado, let's get started. Oh yeah, yesterday, if you're confused, I was live streaming, but I always record my phone too. And so it did a thing again where it glitches out, like the internet disconnects, and so it stops the live stream, but it doesn't look like it stopped. And so the video from the outside says it's like 20 minutes or whatever, but if you actually click on it, it only says like 4 minutes. And so you have to go to regular videos instead of live streams. So that's a setting, I think it is. And so if you just have it set where it automatically just goes to all my set live streams I made, then you have to go to videos to watch the one for yesterday. But if you've already seen it, then you're covered. So, starting on chapter 14 of Numbers, Israel's refusal to enter Canaan. Then the whole community broke into loud cries, and the people wept all night. And all the Israelites complained about Moses and Aaron, and the whole community told them, "If only we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to die by a sword? Our wives and our children will plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?" So they said to one another, "Let's appoint a leader to go back to Egypt." And then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole assembly of Israelite community. Joshua son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh were among those who scouted out the land, tore their clothes, and said to the entire Israelite community, "The land we passed through and explored is an extremely good land. If the Lord is pleased with us, he'll bring us into the land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only don't rebel against the Lord, and don't be afraid of the people of the land, for we devour them. Their protection has been removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them." While the whole community threatened to stone them, the glory of the Lord appeared to all the Israelites in a tent meeting. God's judgment of Israel's rebellion. The Lord said to Moses, "How long will these people despise me? How long will they not trust me in spite of all the signs I have performed among them? I will strike them with a plague and destroy them. Then I will make you into a greater and a mightier nation than they are." But Moses replied to the Lord, "The Egyptians will hear about it, for by your strength you brought up this people from them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of the land. They will have heard that you, Lord, are among these people, how you, Lord, are seen face to face, and how your cloud stands over them, and how you go before them in a pillar of cloud day and day, but pillar of cloud by day and pillar of fire by night. If you killed this people with single blow, the nations have heard of your fame will declare, since the Lord wasn't able to bring his people into the land he swore to give them, he slaughtered them in the wilderness. So now may the Lord's power be magnified, just as you have spoken. The Lord's slow anger and abounding in faithful love, forgiving iniquity and rebellion, but he will not leave the guilty unpunished, bringing consequences on their fathers and iniquity on the children to the third and fourth generation. Please pardon the iniquity of these people in keeping with the greatness of your faithful love, just as you have forgiven them from Egypt until now." The Lord responded, "I have pardoned them as you requested, yet as surely as I live and the whole earth is filled with the Lord's glory, none of the men have seen my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and the wilderness, and have tested me 10 times, and did not obey me, will ever see the land I swore to give their fathers. None of those who have despised me will see it. But since my servant Caleb has a different spirit and has remained loyal to me, I'll bring him to the land where he is gone, and his descendants will inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are living in the lowlands, turn back tomorrow to head for the wilderness to the direction of the Red Sea." Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, "How long must I endure this evil community that keeps complaining about me? I have heard the Israelites complaints that they make against me. Tell them, as sure as I live, this is the Lord's declaration. I will do to you exactly as I have heard you say. Your corpse will fall into this wilderness, all of you who are registered in the census, the entire number of you 20 years old or more, because you have complained about me. I swear that none of you will enter the land I promised to settle you in, except Caleb, son of Jephthah and Joshua son of Nun. I'll bring your children whom you said would become plunder into the land you rejected. They will enjoy it. But as for you, your corpse will fall in this wilderness. Your children will be shepherds in the wilderness for 40 years and bear the penalty for your acts of unfaithfulness. So all your corpse will lie scattered in the wilderness. You will bear your consequences of your iniquities for the 40 years based on the number of the 40 days that you scouted in the land, a year for each day. You will know my displeasure. I, the Lord, have spoken. I swear that I'll do this to the entire evil community that has conspired against me. They'll come and end in the wilderness, and there they will die. So the men Moses sent out to scout out the land, and who returned and incited the entire community to complain about by spreading negative report about the land. Those men who spread the negative report of the land were struck down by the Lord. Only Joshua of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh remained alive, and those men who were scattered out the land. Israel routed. When Moses reported these words to the Israelites, the people were overcome with grief. They got up early next morning and went to the ridge of the hill country, saying, "Let's go to the place the Lord promised, for we were wrong." But Moses responded, "Why are you going against the Lord's command? It won't succeed. Don't go, because the Lord is not among you, and you will be defeated by your enemies. The Amalekites and the Canaanites are right in front of you, and you will fall by their sword. The Lord won't be with you, since you have turned from following him." But they dared to go up to the ridge of the hill country, even though the ark of the Lord covenant and Moses did not leave the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in the part of the hill country came down, attacked them, and routed them as far as Hormah. Laws about offerings. The Lord instructed Moses. This is chapter 15, by the way. The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you enter the land I'm giving you to settle in, and you make a fire offering to the Lord from the herd or flock, either a burnt offering or a sacrifice, to fulfill a vow, or as a free will offering, or as a appointed festival." I'm going to move my phone over a second. It moves to the left a lot. I'll just go. Okay. I'm not sure if this is going to be. If you're going to see what's going on with my phone, I hope it doesn't. But there we go. The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, when you enter the land I'm giving you to settle in, and make a fire offering to the Lord from the herd or flock, either a burnt offering or sacrifice, to fulfill a vow, or as a free will offering, or as a appointed festivals, to produce a pleasing aroma for the Lord. The one presenting his offering to the Lord is also presented a grain offering of 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with a quart of oil. Prepare a quart of wine as a drink offering, with the burnt offering and sacrifice of each lamb. If you prepare a grain offering with a ram, it is to be 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with a third of a gallon of oil. Also present a third of a gallon of wine or a drink offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. To prepare a young bull as a burnt offering, or as a sacrifice to fulfill a vow, or as a fellowship offering to the Lord, a grain offering of 6 quarts of fine flour mixed in with 2 quarts of oil is to be presented with the bull. Also present 2 quarts of wine as a drink offering. It is a fire offering to a pleasing aroma to the Lord. This is to be done for each ox, ram, lamb, or goat. This is how you are to prepare each of them, no matter how many. Every Israelite is to prepare these things in the way when he presents a fire offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. When an alien resides with you, or someone else is among you, and wants to prepare a fire offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord, he is to do exactly as you do throughout your generations. The assemblies is to have the same statute for both of you, the resident alien, as a permanent statute throughout your generations. You and the alien will be alike before the Lord. Same law and the same ordinance will apply to both you and the alien who resides with you. The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, after you enter the land where I am bringing you, you are to offer a contribution to the Lord when you eat from the food of the land. You are to offer a loaf from your first batch of dough as a contribution offer. It is Offer it just like a contribution from the threshing floor. Throughout your generations, you are to give the Lord a contribution from the first batch of your dough. When you sin unintentionally and do not obey all of these commands that the Lord spoke to Moses, all that the Lord has commanded you through Moses, from the day the Lord issued the commands and onward throughout your generations, and if it was done unintentionally without community's awareness, the entire community is to prepare one young bull for a burnt offering, as a pleasing aroma to the Lord, with a grain offering and drink offering according to the regulation, and one male goat as a sin offering. Priests will then make an atonement for the entire Israelite community so that they may be forgiven. Their sin offering was unintentional. They would bring their offering one made by fire to the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord to their unintentional sin. The entire Israelite community and the alien who resides among them will be forgiven, since this happened to all people unintentionally. If one person sins unintentionally, he is to present a year-old female goat as a sin offering. The priest will then make an atonement before the Lord on behalf of the person who acts in error sinning unintentionally. When he makes an atonement for him, he will be forgiven. You are to have the same law for the person that acts in error whenever there's an Israelite or an alien who resides among you. But the person that acts defiantly when either native or resident alien blasphemes the Lord, that person will be cut off from his people. He will certainly be cut off because he has despised the Lord's word and broken his command. His guilt remains on him. Sabbath violation. While the Israelites were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering wood for the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses, Aaron, and the entire community. They placed him in custody because it had not been decided what should be done with him. Then the Lord told Moses, "The man is to be put to death." The entire community stoned him outside the camp. So the entire community brought him outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Tassels for remembrance. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them that throughout their generations they are to make tassel for the corners of their garments and put blue cord on the tassel of each corner. These will serve as tassels for you to look at, so you may remember all the Lord's commands and obey them, and not prostitute yourselves by following your own heart and your own eyes. This way you remember and obey all my commands and be holy to your God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God." Okay, halfway done. Korah incites rebellion. Now Korah, son of Ishar, son of Kohath, son of Levi, with Danan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took 250 prominent Israelite men who were leaders of the Israelite community and representatives in the assembly, and they rebelled against Moses. They came together against Moses and Aaron and told them, "You have gone too far. Everyone in the entire community is holy, and the Lord is among them. Why then do you exalt yourselves above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will reveal who belongs to him, who is set apart, and the one he will let come near him. He will let the one he chooses come near him. He will let the one he chooses come near him." But Korah, you and all your followers are to do this. Take fire pans, and tomorrow place them and put incense on them before the Lord. Then the man the Lord chooses will be the one who is set apart. It is you, Levites, who have gone too far. Moses also told Korah, "Now listen, Levites, isn't it enough for you that God of Israel has separated you from the Israelite community to bring you to himself, to perform the work of the Lord's tabernacle, and to stand before the community to minister to them? He has brought you near, and all your fellow Levites who are with you." There we go. Okay. But you are pursuing the priesthood as well. Therefore, it is you and all your followers who have conspired against the Lord. As for Aaron, who is he that you should complain about him? Moses sent for Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come. Is it enough for you that we brought us up from this land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? Do you also have an appointment for yourself as ruler over us? Furthermore, you didn't bring us to a land flowing with milk and honey, or give us inheritance of fields of vineyards. When will you gouge out the eyes of these men when we will not come? Then Moses became angry and he said to the Lord, don't respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them or mistreated a single one of them. So Moses said to Korah, you and your followers are to appear before the Lord tomorrow. You, they, and Aaron. Each of you is to take a fire pan, place incense on it, and present his fire pan before the Lord. 250 fire pans. You and Aaron are each present your fire pan also. Each man took his fire pan, placed fire in it, put incense on it, and stood at the entrance of the tent of meeting, along with Moses and Aaron. After Korah assembled the whole community against them at the entrance of the tent of meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the whole community. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, separate yourselves from this community, so I may consume them instantly. But Moses and Aaron fell face down and said, God who gives breath to all, when one man sins, will you vent your wrath on the whole community? The Lord said to Moses, tell the community, get away from the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the community, get away now from the tents of these wicked men. Don't touch anything that belongs to them, or you'll be swept away because of all their sins. So they got away from the dwellings of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Meanwhile, Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the entrance of their tents with their wives, children, and infants. Then Moses said, this is how you'll know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, that will not be my own will. If these men die naturally, all the people if these people die naturally, as all the people would, and suffer the fate of all, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings out something unprecedented, and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them along with all that belongs to them, so they go down alive into Sheol, then you'll know that all these men have despised the Lord. Just as he finished speaking all the words, the ground opened beneath them, split open. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed them and their households, all Korah's people and all their possessions. They went down alive in Sheol with all that belonged to them. The earth closed over them, and they vanished from the assembly. At their cries, the people of Israel who were around them fled because they thought the earth will swallow us too. Fire also came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were presenting the incense. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, tell Eleazar son of Aaron the priest to remove the fire pans from the burning debris, because they are holy. Scatter the fire far away. As for the fire pans to those who sin at the cost of their own lives, make them hammered sheets as plating for the altar. They presented them before the Lord, and the fire pans are holy. They'll be a sign to the Israelites. So the priest Eleazar took the bronze fire pans that those who were burned had presented, and they were hammered in plating for the altar, just as the Lord commanded him through Moses. It was a reminder for the Israelites that no unauthorized person outside the lineage of Aaron should be approached to offer incense before the Lord, to become like Korah and his followers. The next day, the entire Israelite community complained about Moses and Aaron, saying, you've killed the Lord's people. When the community assembled against them, Moses and Aaron turned towards the tent of meeting, and suddenly the cloud appeared over it, and God's glory appeared. Moses and Aaron went in front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, get away from this community so I may consume them instantly. But they fell face down. Then Moses told Aaron, take your fire pan, place fire on the altar, and add incense. Go quickly to the community and make an atonement for them, because the wrath has come from the Lord. The plague has begun. So Aaron took his fire pan, as Moses had ordered, ran into the middle of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. After he added incense, made atonement for the people, he stood between the dead and the living. The plague had halted, but those who died from the plague numbered 14,700, in addition to those who died because of the Korah incident. Aaron then returned to Moses at the entrance of the tent of meeting, since the plague had been halted. Aaron's staff chosen. Chapter 17. The Lord instructed Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and take one staff from them, each ancestral tribe, 12 staffs from all the leaders of the tribes. Write each man's name on the staff. Write Aaron's name on Levi's staff, because there is to be one staff for the head of each tribe. Then place them in the center meeting in front of the testimony where I meet with you. Staff of the man I will choose will sprout, and I will rid myself the Israelites' complaints that they have been making about you." So Moses spoke to the Israelites. Each of the leaders gave him a staff for each of the leaders' tribes, 12 staffs in all. Aaron's staff was among them. Moses placed the staffs before the Lord in the testimony. Next day, Moses entered the tent of the testimony and saw that Aaron's staff, representing the house of Levi, had sprouted, formed buds, blossomed, and produced almonds. Moses then brought out all the staffs from the Lord's presence, all the Israelites. They saw them. Each man took his own staff. The Lord told Moses, "Put Aaron's staff back in front of the testimony. It should be kept as a sign for the rebels, so that you may put an end to all the complaints before me, or else they will die." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. Then the Israelites declared to Moses, "Look, we're perishing. We're lost. We're all lost. Anyone who comes near the Lord tabernacle will die. We'll all perish." So that's all of the reading for today. 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 4 chapters. And so it starts out in chapter 14. And this book kind of makes me more mad at Israel. Just because, like, over and over again, they continue to rebel. And, like, at this point, it's, like, non-stop. So it starts out talking about how they're refusing to enter Canaan. And then God judges them and he wants to kill them all. But then, like, Moses kind of pleads for them. And so God does something else. And then the Israelites they decided to go against them. And they're all routed out. And then there was the laws about the offerings they had to make. And, like, our Lord instructed Moses to tell them and, like, how to, where they enter or they're settled, and the fire offerings and all that. And then it talks about a guy who violated the Sabbath, where when instead of resting, he went out and gathered wood. And so the entire community gathered up and they stoned him to death. And so, yeah. And then it talks about how, like, every single, like, piece of clothing has to have tassels to remind them of what God did for them. And then it talks about how the Korah incites rebellion and how, like, they're complaining to the Lord. And so then eventually they all got killed, or the ground opened up and swallowed them, or a fire came and consumed them. And then it talks about the staffs and how God told Moses to take the staffs of each tribe, and then Aaron's staff, for the tribe of Levi, Aaron's name was put on the staff, and that staff sprouted. It's weird. I'm watching my laptop, and, like, it's super delayed from what I'm actually doing. But and then it talks about staff being chosen, and it, like, sprouted, and it went to the point that even almonds were coming out of it. And so then it was kept as a reminder for all the people that try to rebel. So that is all for today. So I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Remember, God loves you. Goodbye.